In this module, we will look at the Traffic Alert and Collision Avoidance System, or Tcas, installed in the aircraft. First, we will start out with a detailed system description. Next, we will look at the various operating modes. After that, we will go over status indications. Finally, we will review the Tcas self-test feature. The Tcas operates in conjunction with the ATC Mode S transponder system to identify potential collision threats and to provide visual and oral advisories for collision avoidance. Essentially, the system surrounds the aircraft with a bubble of protected airspace that is monitored for responses from other aircraft transponders. The boundaries of the bubble are defined by the time required for an intruder aircraft to reach the closest point of approach, or CPA, to your aircraft. The system determines the CPA by predicting the other aircraft's bearing, distance, and altitude, based on their transponder information. If the target becomes a threat, then oral advisories and visual indications are issued, according to the urgency of the situation. If the other aircraft only has a Mode A transponder, only a traffic advisory will appear on the screen. If the other aircraft has a Mode C transponder, then the system is able to command a climb or descend maneuver to avoid the aircraft. The system will not detect an aircraft that does not have a transponder. The system issues the following traffic alerts, listed in descending order of urgency. Resolution advisories, or RAs, which are within the warning area and 15 to 35 seconds of CPA. Traffic advisories, or TAs, which are within the caution area and 20 to 48 seconds of CPA. Proximate traffic, which is within 6 nautical miles and plus or minus 1,200 feet of the aircraft, and is not classified as RA or TA traffic. Or other traffic, which is within the maximum range of the navigation display, or ND page on the multifunction display, or MFD. The system transmits interrogations at a frequency of 1030 MHz, and receives replies at a frequency of 1090 MHz. The Tcas can detect intruders within a maximum range of 100 nautical miles, depending on aircraft configuration and external conditions. The Tcas consists of a Tcas transmitter receiver, a directional antenna on the top of the fuselage, an omnidirectional antenna on the bottom of the aircraft, 2 Mode S transponders, and 4 Mode S antennas. Tcas traffic information is displayed on the navigation display page on the MFD. Resolution advisories are displayed on the vertical speed indicator on the primary flight display, or PFD. The Tcas is configured using the Virtual Control Panel, or VCP, on the MFD. This panel is displayed on the MFD by pressing the surveillance button on the Multifunction Control Panel, or MCP, which brings up the selection of the surveillance pages on the VCP. The MCP is located on either side of the aft section of the center pedestal. Click on the surveillance button to bring up the Tcas page. When the VCP is selected, it is displayed on both MFDs simultaneously. On the Tcas tab, the pilot can select one of 3 modes of operation: auto, TA only, and standby. The auto mode is the normal operating mode. In this mode, the Tcas tracks all aircraft within the surveillance area and provides both traffic and resolution advisories. The TA-only mode position is the same as the auto mode, except that there are no resolution advisories. In the standby mode, power is supplied to the Tcas, but the system's functions are inhibited. The Tcas modes can also be selected on the Tcas page of the Multifunction Control and Display Unit, or MCDU. The McDo Tcas page also allows a selection of the altitude range to monitor. This is done by means of line select key L3. The crew has the option of selecting above, normal, or below. Each push of the line select key toggles the selection to the next altitude range option. The Tcas transmitter receiver unit contains circuits to transmit and receive signals, process received signals, compute data from received signals, and interface with other components of the Tcas. As you saw previously, traffic information is displayed on the ND page of the MFD. If the bearing of a traffic advisory or resolution advisory is not available, the traffic information is displayed in the bottom portion of the ND page. However, in this situation, the system can only display the two most threatening traffic signals detected, if there are more than two. The ND pages display traffic information from the Tcas transmitter receiver unit, as well as vertical speed information from the air data system. Traffic is displayed as one of four Tcas symbols on the ND page. The Tcas antennas can transmit interrogations in four directions and receive replies from all directions. The traffic alert and collision avoidance system continuously monitors the traffic within the system surveillance range. When the Tcas mode is selected to auto or TA only, the system searches the surrounding airspace and analyzes traffic information. If the system detects traffic penetration into the protected airspace around the aircraft, a traffic or resolution advisory is issued to the crew. Traffic and resolution advisories include a visual display of traffic proximity, as well as synthesized voice commands to the flight crew of what corrective action to take in order to achieve a safe vertical separation between the aircraft and intruding traffic. Resolution advisories are displayed on the vertical speed indicator of the PFD, showing the flight crew how to alter their flight path in order to avoid a conflict. When the intruding traffic is no longer a hazard to the aircraft, a clear of conflict voice message is issued to the flight crew. When the Tcas is set to the standby mode, all Tcas operations are disabled, including interrogations. This mode is indicated by a white Tcas standby label, displayed below the vertical speed indicator on the PFD. When the Tcas is set to the auto mode, all Tcas operations are automatic and continuous. From the information received, the system will compute the speed and flight path of an addressed aircraft to determine the closest point of approach, or CPA. The CPA is the minimum separation between the Tcas-equipped aircraft and the addressed aircraft. The system issues a traffic or resolution advisory to the flight crew, depending on the CPA of the addressed aircraft. The advisory consists of a synthesized voice command, which is fed through the audio integrating system, to the flight compartment speakers and flight crew headsets, and a visual advisory which appears on both the captain's and first officer's navigation display, or ND page on the MFD. If a resolution advisory is issued, the Tcas commands will be displayed on the vertical speed indicator of the PFD. The Tcas system displays four types of traffic symbols: a white unfilled diamond, a solid white diamond, a solid amber circle, and a solid red square. A white unfilled diamond represents other traffic, which is traffic within the selected horizontal and vertical range of the display, but not considered as proximate traffic. A solid white diamond represents proximate traffic, which is traffic within plus or minus 1,200 feet relative altitude, and 6 nautical miles of your aircraft, but not considered a collision threat. A solid amber circle represents a traffic advisory or TA, which is traffic that is in the caution area, and 20 to 48 seconds from the CPA of the aircraft. A solid red square represents a resolution advisory, or RA. This is traffic that is in the warning area, and 15 to 35 seconds from the CPA of the aircraft. Each traffic symbol is accompanied by an applicable traffic data tag, which consists of a 2-digit number and a vertical speed direction arrow. The altitude of the intruder aircraft relative to your aircraft is displayed in hundreds of feet by 2 numbers. If the target is above or below you, a plus or minus sign will precede the 2 numbers. So, if an aircraft is 1,000 feet above, there will be a plus 10 above its target symbol. An aircraft that is 200 feet below you will be indicated by a minus 02 below its target symbol. If the intruder aircraft is climbing or descending at 500 feet per minute or more, there will be an up or down arrow beside its target symbol. An up arrow means the aircraft is climbing. A down arrow means the aircraft is descending. No arrow is displayed if the aircraft is climbing or descending at less than 500 feet per minute. When the TA-only mode is selected, only traffic advisories are displayed on the ND page. When a traffic advisory is issued, a traffic voice message will sound over the flight compartment speakers and flight crew headsets. All Tcas voice messages are inhibited when the aircraft is less than 900 feet above ground level during a descent, or when the aircraft is less than 1,100 feet above ground level during a climb. If a traffic advisory is upgraded to a resolution advisory, the ND page will display the appropriate traffic symbol, and a recommended vertical speed range is displayed on the vertical speed indicator. The recommended range is represented by green segments, and the restricted range is represented by red segments. There are 2 types of RAs, preventive and corrective. A preventive RA advises the flight crew to maintain the current vertical speed. A corrective RA advises the flight crew to deviate from the current vertical speed in an evasive maneuver. A climb, or descend voice message, depending on the traffic flight path, will sound over the flight compartment speakers and the flight crew headsets, as part of a corrective RA that requires an evasive maneuver, up or down, to avoid an intruder aircraft. There are various additional resolution advisory voice messages that can be issued, depending on the traffic conditions. We will take a look at each type of advisory. A climb, crossing climb voice message indicates the flight path of the aircraft will cross the path of the intruder aircraft while maintaining a safe separation. In this case, climb at the rate shown by the green segment on the vertical speed indicator. A monitor vertical speed voice message indicates that you should make sure you stay within the green segment on the vertical speed indicator. This is a preventive RA. It does not require a change in vertical speed. A descend, crossing descend voice message indicates you should descend at the rate shown by the green segment, and the flight path of the aircraft will cross the path of the intruder aircraft while maintaining safe separation. A maintain vertical speed, maintain voice message indicates that you should maintain your current rate of climb or descent, to prevent entering the restricted vertical speed range depicted by the red segments. An increase climb message indicates that the rate of climb should be increased. This voice message will come after a climb voice message if the intruder aircraft's flight path changes. Conversely, an increased descent message indicates that the rate of descent should be increased. This voice message will come after a descend voice message if the intruder aircraft's flight path changes. A climb now voice message sounds when a reversal from descent to climb is required. This voice message will come after a descend advisory. Conversely, a descend now voice message sounds when a reversal from climb to descent is required. This voice message will come after a climb advisory. A clear of conflict voice message is issued when the intruder aircraft is no longer a collision threat. The pilot should promptly return to the previously assigned altitude. Descend advisories are inhibited when the aircraft is less than 1,000 feet above ground level during a descent, or when the aircraft is less than 1,200 feet above ground level during a climb at takeoff. Increased descent advisories are inhibited when the aircraft is less than 1,450 feet above ground level during a descent, or when the aircraft is less than 1,650 feet above ground level during a climb. The chart displayed on this screen shows the inhibit conditions for the climb, and increase climb advisories. All resolution advisories are inhibited when the aircraft is less than 900 feet above ground level during a descent, or when the aircraft is less than 1,100 feet above ground level during a climb. Tcas status information is displayed on 2 lines of text on the PFD, under the vertical speed indicator. The top line of text is either Tcas or TA only, depending on whether the auto mode or the TA only mode is selected. The bottom line of text can display the selected Tcas vertical range as above, normal, or below. A TA only threat message indicates that the TA only mode has been selected, but traffic is not selected on the ND Overlay tab of the MFD Virtual Control Panel. A Tcas threat message indicates that nothing is selected on the Tcas tab, and traffic is not selected on the ND Overlay tab. Tcas Standby is displayed when the Tcas is in the standby mode. The Tcas performs a self-test when the system powers up. This is indicated by the Tcas test message. Tcas fail is displayed if the Tcas has failed. Also, there is an amber TCA message on the EWD, as well as a single chime, and the master caution lights flash. This concludes the Tcas